Hi, everybody. I'm Rogers Healy, the host of Rogers That, a podcast dedicated to selling without selling out. And today we have an incredible guest, somebody that I have admired and looked up to for a very, very long time. He's a successful person in his own right in the world of entertainment. But my favorite part about Chris Dowling, who's joining us today, is he is a very well-centered man. He puts his faith in his family above everything else, so much so that he decided to move back to his home state in his home city of Dallas, Texas, right when the pandemic occurred. And that's because he knew that the bigger parts of life are the parts of life that you don't go and share with the rest of the world. That's what happens inside your four walls of your home. And so Chris has become one of my best friends. We connect on multiple levels, ranging from love of music, love of family, love of the Lord. But more than anything, we connect because we are both retired soap stars. And so y'all might know Chris as the director, the producer, the writer, but I know him as Chaz.
Chaz. I don't think he even had a last name.
Just Chaz, but it had 3 Z's. That's the thing that we're going to talk about on the second episode. But Chris, thank you for being a part of this today. That means a lot to me. You're a busy guy, and I know that life comes at you fast. But to make time for us little people, thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
You're welcome, or thank you. So before we get started with the emotional conversation of what led us here and how long Chris has been growing his hair, why don't you give us background on you? What's your story? Where are you from? What got you into the world of film and television and acting? And where are you today?
Yeah, man. So, well, we know where we are today, at least geographically, because, yeah, we did make the move. For better or for worse, I'm still trying to figure out with my family. But...
What if this is a hologram of Chris, and this is the greatest movie the greatest podcast he's ever been a part of?
Boom. It's like a Banksy type thing.
Is that Tupac?
Like...
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, so yes, where are we today? What got you where we're at?
Yeah. So we did move back to Texas. I'm extremely happy about that. I'm loving it. Wife is 75% loving it, I would say. Kids, 100% one day, 50% another day. Who knows?
Does that 50% day when it's 188 outside and there's nothing to do other than watch Lethal Weapon and Goonies and E.T.?
Yeah, the kids don't get to watch Lethal Weapon, but
true.
But I do.
Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's pretty hot. But we found pretty cool things to do outside, even when it's hot. There's this great in Frisco. This is a total side note, real quick, but there's this little limestone quarry, and you just get down there. There's a waterfall, and honestly, we just walk for like 2 hours, and you just walk the creek, and there's fish and snakes and.
Is this? Are you? I feel like you want to see a dead body.
Yeah,
Isn't this the start of Stand By Me?
Y'all want to see a dead body?
You want to see a dead body?
That was Boys in the Hood. I did Boys in the Hood. You were doing Stand By Me.
I did. I'm more of a Stephen King fan than
John Singleton.
John Singleton was Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
Or Always On.
But Stand By Me is my favorite movie of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
That's why we do this podcast. Wow. Just when I thought I couldn't fall in love with Chris anymore.
Don't look directly in the eyes.
I can't. I'll look at my camera. Okay, so Texas guy goes to UT, went to J.J. Pierce. Berkner.
No. Yeah, Richardson Berkner.
Went to Richardson Berkner, and obviously knew at a young age that you had a different kind of gift. What was the gift?
Yeah, I mean, I always loved to write, stories, and then we always made movies with like our big VHS Sony camcorder that was like the big shoulder down thing. And you'd
for all you millennials and Gen Z and Gen X, or maybe even Gen X, what's a VHS, please?
The tape, it goes in, you got to be kind and rewind, but then you just close it in there, and you actually have to edit. You had to shoot everything obviously sequentially, and then you had to edit it inside the camera just by like figuring out where you should have stopped and going back and stopping it there. But again, we made some great stuff. In fact, one of my crowning achievement possibly this day was when I was a senior in high school. We had the option to either do a research paper, like it was like a 15-page research paper on drugs. Certainly, we all got a different drug assigned to us, or you could make a video about the drug, and it was supposed to be, informational. And we made an amazingly hilarious movie. It was about 15 minutes, called "Cocaine the Movie," and dude, it was awesome. And so,
starring Eric Clapton.
That
soundtrack by Eric Clapton.
Song was obviously featured. That was before I understood musical rights. And,
was it really in there?
Of course.
That's
how it opened. But the great part was we didn't know how they were going to receive it in the class because everybody's stuff was very, very serious. And then we put it in, and I mean, dude, it was awesome. We got a standing ovation that we watched. Then they wanted to watch it again, and then that tape got passed around throughout I wish I could find it. It got passed around throughout the school, and we ended up getting 110. She gave us a 10-point bonus
because maybe the teacher was on cocaine and
it hit her emotionally, but also
and in her literal heart.
Yes, I think that could be what it was about.
Yeah, which is funny because y'all that are going to become a Chris fan over the course of this conversation, what I love about Chris is, which the whole reason I wanted to come on here, is the films that he focuses on now are feel-good family films with a faith theme. And so to go from the guy that did a first movie about literally called cocaine to your movies that you have been
Right, and then my first short film, we won't
what is
talk
that?
about. If you
Heroin. It was a short film.
It's actually it's a really interesting one. It's called The Plight of Clown Anna, and Clown Anna is a actually this is a true story. This is crazy. So have you ever seen Omeleteville with Justin Timberlake on Saturday Night Live?
Taking me back to Omeleteville.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. 100% that somebody saw our short film. It was doing the short film circuit at the time.
He had those big Mickey Mouse hands.
Yeah, and it was the Rivals dancing.
Yeah.
I don't remember who but anyways, long story short, like literally when that came on, I mean this would have been like 2003 or something. I got so many phone calls that night, and they were like, "Go watch Saturday Night Live. They're doing The Plight of Clown Anna. Timberlake's doing it." And because ours was about the Clown Anna was half banana, half clown, who was the it was dancing in front of Jolly Face ice cream, right? And then across the street, a different kind of shop opens up, and there's a different kind of guy dancing across the street. And they're rivals, but then at the end, they come together to defeat the handsome Hollywood hoodlums who drive by and throw a milkshake on Clown Anna.
No way. Who played Clown Anna?
My good buddy Danny Adams.
Wow.
But the handsome Hollywood hoodlums. It was like Jensen.
Ackles?
Yeah. Do you know Riley Smith?
Yeah.
Christian Kane.
No.
Chris Palaha.
Yes.
Yeah, I think those were the four hoodlums in the car. So.
I haven't heard that. So Chris and I, fun fact, not even a fun fact, a failed fact about me. I lived in LA in the early 2000s, tried to be the next Chris Dowling, tried to be an actor. Obviously, here we are in Dallas filming a podcast.
But you've done pretty well since then, I have to say.
In the acting world, not so much. But these are all names that back 10, 20 years ago, literally, these are all people that were up and coming, and now they have all done very, very well, especially Chris. So back to the writing, directing, producing, and how that all happened. Cocaine, the saga of Clown Anna, the journey of Natty Gann.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, actually, Jensen had moved out to LA. We went to school together, and then I did the big mistake where I went to UT for one semester, and I went to go visit him during the winter break. And then I was like, I'm not coming back to Austin. I'm staying here. So I told my parents, and they knew I wanted to do writing. And anyways, so then I moved out there.
Wait, you graduated UT though, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, my college journey is crazy because I moved out there. I was there for a semester. Jensen had signed me up at Glendale Community College, and I went there. I didn't like it. So then on the next semester, I went to Valley Community College, got credits, didn't like it. Or it was fine. But then I got a call from a coach at UTD who was like, "Hey, you want to play college basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So then I packed up and moved back to Dallas.
No way.
And played at UTD for a semester, but they didn't have my major. So then I went to Richland for a semester after that, and then I went back to UT Austin and finished up and graduated.
For you all watching and listening today, that is an example of how not to do college.
I got it done in 4.5 years, though.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
unbelievable.
Well, but it took petitioning. I got every class I did, and I had to go petition everyone at UT for them to accept my classes, and they all did. So.
Wow, what number were you on the basketball team?
24, I
What
assume.
was the mascot?
We were I don't know if it still is. We were a terrible mascot. We were the Comets.
Oh.
So we shared a name with the WNBA team, which is not like the sexiest move if you're, college basketball team. But
And you thought you were going to go to the NBA and then decided to go pursue film instead?
that's right.
Wow.
I thought my 5 minutes off the bench were gonna catapult me into the NBA.
Do you have that jersey?
You know what's funny? I actually still have the practice jersey.
That might be frame-worthy here at the Rogers Healy headquarters.
It's barely hanging on to life, but yes.
Well, that's what a frame preserves it forever. Okay, speaking of being preserved forever.
Oh, so anyways, so when Jen, it's funny because we had this idea like we were gonna be the two Coreys when we were like even in 6th grade. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna be the two
Again,
Coreys.
a reference to the early 80s, License to Drive,
Lost
The
Boys?
Goonies, The Lost Boys, maybe even a little bit of Gleaming the Cube. That wasn't that? Oh, that was Christian Slater. The two Coreys were Corey Haim, Corey Feldman.
Yep.
Very classic, riddled by all sorts of fame and drugs. Corey Haim passed away probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman, I think, is now a vampire. Corey Feldman, if you're watching this, the Michael Jackson thing, I get it, kind of.
But I would actually love to sit down. He was just on my friend Daniel Harris' podcast, and I was like, I just would love to just grab coffee with him. Because, I mean, like, when I go watch and Stand By Me is one of my favorite movies, right?
Dude.
If not my favorite. But, like, there's so many of those movies, and I watch him, and he's so good.
So good.
Every time, he's so good. I mean, the Frog Brothers and Lost Boys, like.
I've never seen Lost Boys. I've never seen it.
Can we do a movie night at your
I
house?
would love to. And to talk to, of all the characters I've ever connected with, the two I've connected with more than any other was Ryan Reynolds in Just Friends and Jerry O'Connell in Stand By Me. I was Vern as a kid. Literally,
Really?
I was the fat kid that was very, like, reluctant to risk and very anxious and wore the shirts that were way too tight.
You honestly do have a Jerry O'Connell look to you, though.
Dude, I'll take it. Him
Honestly,
or
this-
Ryan Reynolds. If y'all are watching,
I didn't say Ryan Reynolds. I was Jerry O'Connell. So
but we want you as our next podcast guest. Which, by the way, this is going to be the longest episode ever if we don't get back to to Chris's journey into being a star of movies.
Anyway, so went back out, finished up school, went back out there, wanted to write. Knew I wanted to write, but like when in Rome, you act in LA. So got a headshot, got a manager. Had a little bit of success.
Which is not easy to do. Again, from a failed LA person and myself, to get an agent or a manager it's always kind of cart before the horse, right? It's like, well, we'll represent you when it's like, how can you go and do it without having it? So obviously you got the secret sauce.
And it's really hard to do it when you're a writer or director because I've got a lot of friends that don't have projects, like they have scripts or spec scripts, like, oh, I got to get an agent. I'm like, God, it's so hard because an agent doesn't want you unless you have something that's about to hit or just hit, and you've got the next thing to go. So like they're not just like random, like going, oh, we believe in you, like we love your talent. It's like, no, they want to know that you just had a movie that happened or something happened that's got a little heat, and you have the next thing they're ready to take out.
What was your first thing? Where you were like in that world, to put it in perspective. I mean, I think back in 2003 when I moved there. The statistic was 323 people per day moved to LA to enter the entertainment industry. And we're talking actors, writers, producers, anybody in that. So the odds are stacked against you multiple times over. But for you, what was the first thing you did that you were getting?
Well, yeah, it's funny because it's like, it's always a start and stop where it was like, I did Clown Anna. We did Newport Beach Film Fest, which is a mid-tier one, but we won the audience award, right? And I was like, and people were like, to the moon, this is it. And I was like, yeah, I'm all fired up and crickets, right? And then the next one we did Rock Slide, with Warburton.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I mean, that story is crazy. Like we had $100,000 total. Patrick got the script, read it. First-time director, which is really hard to trust. I went and had dinner with him, and he's like, I'm in. And his manager and his agents were like, you're out. And he was like, I'm in. And so once he was in, then it was like, we had, again, this is first-time director, first-time producers.
Which, there's a whole other connection with Patrick Warburton and me, which connects us to a whole nother level.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
No one will baby.
know. Oh, Bob Steele. I played a bad guy with ponytail, with pigtails, named Bertrand, and I was Patrick Warburton's sidekick.
Yeah.
A movie I've never seen, and no one else has seen it either, so we're good.
Did it release?
I
don't think it released.
I hope it did not.
I do want to see it, though. I feel like somewhere between you and Warburton it exists.
Can I get canceled for wearing pigtails and beating people up with Patrick Warburton? Probably.
Warburton's uncancelable, man. He's the best. He's the man. He's got you.
If that's what takes me down, then I'll move back to LA and make the sequel, Bob Steeler. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, too fast, too furious. Too Steel, Too Furious.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Warburton. But it was awesome, man, because we had that, right? It was like $100,000 budget. It was Warburton, and then Elaine Hendricks came on, and Rena Sofer, and it was like Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, and
thank you for saying out of all those people you just named, you actually told us who Jason Alexander was, because Patrick Warburton was also in Seinfeld. He was Putty.
Oh, yes.
He was Elaine's boyfriend.
Yeah. And it's funny, generationally, it's like he was the emperor, a Kronk, or like, it's like...
Or the Tick.
Yeah, dude, Tick was...
Most people know who he is because of Family Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter. He's Joe.
Yeah. Anyway, he's such an awesome guy, too. But anyway, it was so cool. It was like, and then Andy Dick wanted to play the bad guy. And so, Andy, it was awesome because Andy came to me.
I got an Andy Dick story.
Oh,
everyone has
everyone. It's funny
Dick
because
story.
As I've even been in other cities, I found out that I thought it was an LA thing. Everyone across the country has an Andy Dick story.
Yeah.
But Andy was.
I know he's really nice.
I love Andy. Honestly, he's such a nice guy. He's such a sweetheart. Obviously,
lost humans.
Got issues. But funny enough, though, he's awesome. He did come to church with me one time.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. And it was hilarious because one of the kids walks up, one of the guys in my youth group, little kid, and he goes, "Are you Andy Dick from Rock Slide?" Like of all the things,
No way.
Yeah, because Rock Slide was the movie you just watched mine. This was pretty cute. But anyways, it was you'll like this. Jerry Cantrell was in the movie.
Alice in Chains. This is where we cross podcasts.
Brian Bosworth was in the movie. It was just the weirdest collection. It was amazing.
The Boz, Oklahoma, middle linebacker, probably one of the biggest busts in sports history, but has found a way to stay relevant.
Super nice guy. Obviously, he's great. He plays a homosexual pirate in the movie,
which was literally going to be my guess for the Boz.
I mean, of course.
Wow.
Typecasting, right?
Jerry Cantrell? How did you pull that off? By the way, one of the most underrated voices in the history of music. You know him from Alice in Chains. You also might know him from the group prior to Alice in Chains, Mad Season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jerry Cantrell, and then rest in peace, Lane Staley had a group.
Yeah, we went and saw them with Korn actually, like 2 years ago. It was awesome.
Unbelievable.
The new guy sounds exactly like him.
Korn or Alice in Chains?
Alice in Chains, like.
Yeah, that's like seeing Journey though, or even seeing the Eagles now because Glenn Frey. Anyway, back to the journey of being a movie guy.
The journey of the movie guy. Where was I? Anyway, so we did Rock Slide. It was 2008. Came out of that one, and crazy, great cast. Super, and we were gonna take it to market, but it was 2008, and literally nobody was buying. And like my attorney at that time had just sold The Hurt Locker the year before, and he watched this movie. He was like, "Dude, you guys are about to make some money on it." But then it was like 2008, crushed it, and so then it was like, because everyone was like, "Okay, this one's taken off." Didn't take off. It actually was probably Where Hope Grows is where I actually got a little bit of traction, where it actually propelled me to the next job. And then like people were like, "Oh, cool!" Like I got the job, the writing job for the Priceless movie because they had watched Where Hope Grows, and then and so that's where I think it started, kind of getting out there. And I sold a reality show, which kind of gave me some financial.
Well, which one?
Repo Games.
Repo Games.
Yeah.
Not just a reality TV show. It's got a cult following.
It was pretty classic.
How does one come up with the idea of making a game show around people getting their cars repossessed?
Well, I'll tell you how that happens, because
See,
my
this
buddy,
is why we're here.
my buddy Jose Pablo Cantilla, who is a phenomenal actor and my business partner, he was on Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy, things.
Wow.
And neither of us had been actually in the unscripted space, but we like these reality. We're like, all right, well, how do you do? Because all the reality shows, the repo shows are all reenactments. They're all fake, right? Because
no way. I actually did not know that.
Oh, all of them, because you can't, like, with lending
Sir,
laws.
before I take your car, do you want to be on this? How did you convince people to be on a TV show that was reenacted for probably a really bad day in their life?
So that's what we said. How can you convince people to let us show the footage of being on a real repossession? Because it breaks all kinds of lending laws and stuff. Like, it's a federal offense for these lenders to give any information away. So what we did is we had our teams get hired by the lender, and when they went to the repossession, it was just their team that would go up front and film everything, and then we would have to ask them permission to use the footage. But we would say, "Hey, do you want to play a game show in your front yard against the repo man? And if you win, we pay off your car and you own it free and clear." And they said, "Heck yes, I do. How do I sign up?" And so I did, like, I think I've seen over 200 live repossessions. We got shot at in Vegas. Did I tell you that? No. Oh, we were trapped in a cul-de-sac. The SWAT team had to come out and get us with, like, the shields and run. It was me and 5 other guys in our the Sprinter van, which was kind of the production hub right there. It was
it's kind of like the TV show Cheaters, if you've ever watched that behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Dallas based.
But a lot of that was obviously fake also.
What?
Yeah.
Don't ruin my day.
Oh. Yeah, no, I mean, none of it, though, was.
Cheaters I was actually at a restaurant in Dallas when someone on Cheaters got stabbed with a fork, and I was eating at Shuck and Jive over by West Village.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if it's all fake. And I don't know if at some point it goes from, like, real to fake, you know what I mean? Like, but anyways.
Repo Games, getting shot at.
All that to say, it was an amazing run. We had 40 episodes on Spike when Spike was there.
Great channel.
And, yeah, man, and we did get shot at. It was funny, though, because then, like...
Did you survive?
No. This is the hologram you're speaking to, as we mentioned. But the crazy thing was, so when we did season 2, because we have vans that say Repo Games everywhere, we all run. So it was like season 2, we'd knock on a door and someone opened the door, be like, "What the? Yeah, Repo Games, yeah!" So that was pretty funny. And then even the better part was, so once the show was canceled, my good buddy Tom DeTone, who was one of the hosts, he went on to go repo cars again because that's what he does. So he said he would knock on someone's door and tell them he's taking the car, and they'd be like, "Yeah, Repo Games." He was like, "Nah, I'm just taking your car."
Wow.
No, where's the car? No, I'm just. So he was like, for a year, I was just crushing people when I get there because I'd be like, "I'm just taking your car, man."
Wow. So did you feel at that moment like you'd reached the pinnacle and nothing you could do to top Repo Games? For real?
No, I mean, it was awesome. It was a good 2-year run. But it was cool because it gave me the money. Like, in between that time, I got to write my first film that had a theatrical release. Because when I went back to the office, I was working with this great company, 495 Productions. They do, like, Jersey Shore and stuff. Do you know them?
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yes. Wait.
Josh Peters.
Oh, yeah, duh.
I love Josh
I was
Peters.
like, I met your friend.
So anyways, so when we were working with them, I had some downtime, but I was also working on doing all that stuff. So I was able to do write for a Sony project in between there. So it was really cool. It was just like one of those things where it's like it worked out perfectly, man. I mean, I look back at it, it was like perfectly God's grace, because like we were able to buy our house that year, because most of my year, most of the years out there, I'm making like 30, 40K, like we're scraping by trying to figure it out. And it was like, boom, we had these 2 really good years where I got to buy our house from this repo game and then put some money into some investments that are going to pay dividends one day. But other than that, like,
also randomly, I'm in some similar investments as Chris, which just maybe this is where we find out we get a knock on the door and Maury Povich walks in and says, "You're brothers."
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
we actually are similar size, coloring. Like it is now that I'm thinking about this.
Dad.
Yeah.
Is that how old are you really? Okay, I want to make sure that the theme of the show, I'm staying consistent with it, because no. You mentioned your family and your faith and all that, and for me, one of the things I really admire about Chris is that you can just tell that he stayed like this the whole time. And you go in a place like LA that is dog eat dog. It's incredibly competitive. I love your coffee mug. It's incredibly competitive.
Oh yeah.
It's a real estate company here in Texas. And you found success. What did you do to make sure that you stayed centered and that you didn't get sucked in? LA's a vortex, okay?
Yeah.
LA will take you in, it'll chew you up, it'll spit you out. Next thing you know, you look up, you got random bracelets on, you're worshiping some random religion, and you keep dyeing your hair. What was your trick to staying focused?
I think the 2 maybe key things are, like, if you're in LA, first of all, and you're authentic, people will pick up on that, because most people aren't authentic there. So it doesn't matter if I am authentically agreeing with if I'm a Christian, but you're not a Christian, but at least if I'm authentic about it and I'm not like pushing it and trying to do all this stuff, but you're like, oh, like you genuinely do care about me as a human, even though, you believe in God and Jesus and all this stuff. And so I found that like that was very endearing to people. Because a lot of people, actually, it's funny, I've met a lot of people in LA, they're like, I don't really know a whole lot of Christians. But Isn't
that weird?
It was so weird,
Yeah.
especially going to Texas, but like, but it was my, like, for instance, one of my best friends, he was like, he's been on movie sets a bunch of, and he was like, hey, before I met your family, like, I've only worked with some guys that called themselves Christians and something. And he's like, and they were horrible to people. Yeah. He's like, so we didn't have a good reference point, So I think being authentic and genuinely caring about people, and I do think you have to have talent. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in LA and you have some talent, like, people will put up with you a little more than if you don't. And so I'd like to think that
I was there for 9 months.
So,
No talent.
You didn't give it a shot. But so I think that was probably a really good combo, man. And it's just like I'm like you. I'm a people person, right? So it's like I want to meet people, I want to help them out, and again, I think that really starts snowballing. And so like I'm in an interesting place because I do a lot of these faith films and the inspirational films, but most of the guys that do that are very insulated. Like it's like
they only live in that world.
They're only in that world,
Yeah.
right? And like I was in LA for 20 years. Most of my friends and most of my the people I was working with aren't in the faith world. So it's like I've been in a cool place where like I look at my films more like I like to make them feel more like a indie feel than like just like the shiny floor faith films. So I don't know, man. I kind of exist in a pretty cool spot where like I get pretty good respect from
Very LA answer. I kind of exist. It's all about energy here in the universe. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So the energy of the aura.
Yeah, it's all based on the vibrations I'm feeling right now are so good.
I'm sending love, baby.
Yeah.
Just sending love.
Good vibrations, by the way. Great song.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel kind of like we're on Saturday Night Live, and it's about to break into the sweaty balls. You know what I'm talking about? The for y'all watching, one of the most iconic segments ever. Alec Baldwin kind of hijacked, who was Anna Gasteyer and Molly Shannon had this like NPR video, and then he comes in and goes, he was promoting his new company of chocolate dipped balls, and he called them Sweaty Balls because his last name was Schwett.
You know the one I really loved was do you remember Bad Idea jeans?
Yes, they're unbelievable.
It was the Bugle Boy jeans commercial.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Mom Jeans.
Yeah,
commercial.
Yeah. But Bad Idea jeans was hilarious. I mean, some of the things they said were hilarious.
I completely cut you off from you finishing your thought. I just realized that. Back to being centered and remaining a good person and not wearing bad idea. Maybe full circle is he would wear good idea jeans.
That's right. No, but I honestly, like, I'm always, if you try to put people first, I think that's respected. And like and it's hard, and I get it, because a lot of people go out there and there's if you're a Christian, sometimes you feel like you got to be on the attack out there and you got to slinging it around. But it's like, I don't know, man. I was just like, I never felt threatened. But I also, in all fairness, like, I have a pretty good just moral grounding anyways. So like, I wasn't going to get into anything too crazy. And I know there's a lot of people that's a big allure to, so I understand how it's so easy to be like, cool, I'm going to do, and I didn't care as much about, it's not fair to say I don't care what people think, but I wouldn't do things, like I wouldn't go do something really bad just to get a leg up or something. And I think a lot of people that go out there, they feel desperate or they feel something. And they feel like I've got to do this to succeed. And that just for me wasn't really on the plate. But I had a good group of guys, a good group of friends I'm still super close with out there. So we had a good core group, and it made it. And it was a good mix of non-Hollywood and Hollywood too, which made it nice. So it was more, maybe it was more grounded. I don't know, man. I've never, because I talked to a lot of people in the faith industry that are the kids, and they're gonna go out there, and they're all like, they're so afraid and all stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think everyone in Hollywood was just sitting around waiting to attack the Christian guy. But if you're a Christian guy and you act like, by the way, if you're a Christian and you act like an idiot, then yeah, you probably will get attacked. But I've got some buddies that told me.
He looked at me when he said that.
Well, you've been attacked. This has already been semi-aggressive. Some of the things you brought at me.
No, he scooted his chair a little bit further away.
But I have heard people tell me, and this I thought was super telling and sad. They said, "Hey, I've worked on a faith-based film set and I've worked on a porn set." It was a gaffer, and he said, and the producers on the porn set treated people with more respect than the people on the faith-based film.
Jeez.
And I said, that is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Which film were you a part of?
Both.
Both.
I was that gaffer.
That's where this thing takes a turn.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So with being literal, I mean, you know that you've been a successful guy and that you've defied the odds multiple times. And no joke, to be on a television show, to create a television show, to have award-winning movies you've written, award-winning movies you've directed, you probably might be the only person to ever do that. I'm not kidding.
No, it's funny because it's certainly not as sexy as it sounds too. Like whenever I talk to people, like I was with a family last night and the daughters wanting to get into it. It's like, I'm like, hey, look, like I've had movies out there and stuff, and it's been cool, and documentaries and stuff, but it's like, I mean, it's still like, especially when you're in LA, I'm still paycheck to paycheck. I got a family, a mortgage. Like, it's not like, some of these guys, it's just crazy. Like, obviously, when you get to a certain level, there's so much money, but like, I'm not in that level. So it's like, you're just, I mean,
you also chose to live in, and I want to get there with this. You chose to live in an arena that is a different kind of impactful. So with all your successes and all the stuff that has made an impact, what was the one that you said, okay, this actually, I mean, Repo Games is great, but I know from your heart perspective, out of all the faith-based stuff that you've done, what was the first time that you wrapped it? You're like, I got something here.
Yeah, Where Hope Grows. That was a really interesting one because it was either, the Hollywood Reporter said it was either one of or the first English-speaking film that starred an individual with Down syndrome. And so walking into that, I mean, I had written the script, but I didn't I didn't know anyone that had Down syndrome, and that wasn't, so when we cast David DeSanctis, who is, I can't wait to meet him, who is such a character, and still we text every day still, but like that actually really, it was like one of those weird like art imitating life, imitating art things, because like my relationship with him was kind of growing the same way that the actor, the storyline was growing with the actor, and I came out of that. It was really cool because there's like so many people like me, they don't have a face, right? So it's like you box somebody in that's got special needs or Down syndrome, and so the idea that movie, if you watch it, it gives you a face and it makes it personal. So you see like, oh, that's an individual. Just like all these individuals with Down syndrome, they're individuals. And they're not just like, that's the Down syndrome guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's been remarkable. We've had, I had families that came up to me and said, hey, our child with Down syndrome, they went as Produce, the character in our movie, like for Halloween. Like that was who they chose to be for Halloween.
No way.
Because they'd never seen a hero like them that looked like them on screen. And so, I mean, and from there, man, I was just like, I got back into LA and I was like, well, what am I doing? Like I got right away into my church. I started doing the special needs group in my church, and started,
in LA?
Yeah. And I brought my daughters in and they were doing it. And I started getting on some boards and organizations. And so anyway, so like that was life-changing for me. And the impact that I've seen it have on countless people, because via emails, messages, talking to people, it's still, I've got goosebumps. It still gives me goosebumps, man, like that. So that will always be my favorite movie, no matter what. Even if I shoot Spider-Man 37 and it's $100 million budget,
Tobey Maguire, if you're watching this,
Yes.
that's a call to action, my friend.
Call to action.
For both of y'all to come out of, not retirement, but I think he was the only Spider-Man I knew of. Tom Holland.
Well, did you watch the last Spider-Man? Oh, he was bad. Oh.
I'm not a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, the last one was really. I'm not a big super good. The last one was great.
No, you're not, but you literally love Spider-Man, so that makes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where hope grows went into. I would say I've been a Chris fan even before I knew him, and I met you through a mutual connection, and it was through a movie that, Language of the Broken Heart, that I think you were part of, weren't you? I'm kidding. Okay, so where hope grows puts you on the map differently. You're already obviously on the map, but what was the next project? I want to get to your most recent project.
Oh, anyway, so I mean, then it kind of snowballed. So like then there's a band for King and Country that is in the faith space that people love, and they're fantastic. They played like Kimmel, and I think they've officially
Really?
crossed. Oh yeah, crossed over. It was great. One of my very very close friends, a producer on Kimmel, and he
the guy
watched.
I met.
Oh yeah, Walkie. Yeah, Walkie's
Yeah.
great. So Walkie, after King Country played, because he didn't know what to expect, he walks over to me in the green room and he goes, "Well, Dow, that just warmed my little Jew agnostic heart."
Wow.
Because they were good. They were really good.
Yeah.
And so their manager, John Chapman, had seen Where Hope Grows, and so he just hit me out of the blue and was like, "Hey man," he's like, "I saw this. I think this is the kind of movie the boys want to do. So do you want to meet them?" So I met them. They offered me the job. So we wrote this movie, Priceless, which they shot, and that one also was in limited release in theaters. And then they started just kind of like it's like each one just kind of you know what I mean? Like just kind of grows on top of the
I
next
don't know
one.
what you mean. This doesn't happen to me. I don't have it where stuff just falls in my lap.
Well, it's not falling. I mean, it's a long grind. It's like a year or two or whatever. Except for now. Like now, my career right now has been awesome. Like it's a really crazy place where I'm at right now, which has been great. But it's like 22 years of grinding and waiting for
22 years also.
things to happen.
Still waiting.
Spider-Man 37, dude.
Yeah,
You could
again,
play
Toby,
Sandman.
who played the bad guy? Willem Dafoe. Also, if you're watching, I could be in Spider-Man. I could play a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the realtor. That could. What if that was
the realtor, yeah.
There's like the Riddler.
A lot of people hate realtors in a lot of ways. They can be bad.
Yeah.
They can be bad.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, he just sells another house again.
Yep.
Wonder if it's mine. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So thank y'all for watching. Just kidding. Okay, but get to the freaking last one.
Acid Man?
No, dude, the one that was the #1 movie on Netflix.
Oh, Blue Miracle. But the last one's Acid Man, which I'm really proud of too.
But Blue Miracle was the most recent one that was widespread. Acid Man's not out to everybody yet, is
right.
it?
It was just at Tribeca.
Yeah, Blue Miracle was literally.
Yeah, Blue Miracle was great. So Blue Miracle's a true story. Dennis Quaid. And yeah, it was awesome, man. We were #2 in the world on Netflix for like 3 or 4 weeks, and we were #1 most liked on the platform.
Jeez, who else was in that other than Dennis Quaid?
A guy named Jimmy Gonzalez.
He played the main character.
Yeah, he played Omar.
Someone else was in that too. Wasn't like who was D-Day from Animal House in it? Bruce? No.
Oh, Bruce. He played Bisbee, Wayne Bisbee.
Yeah.
Bruce. What's his name?
Bruce, if you're watching, just press pause because we're gonna get there. What was his name?
Bruce. Fill in the name later.
Yeah, Bruce, great actor.
I don't know because right now I'm going Bruce Dern. It's not Bruce Dern, obviously, but like this, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But give me a second. But anyways, yeah. So Brucey was in it. We call him Brucey, so I don't even know him as Bruce. Yeah, man, and it was like one of those interesting things where
Bruce McGill.
McGill, yes, thank you, jeez. So that's where that's where like now with streaming it's crazy because it's like I've probably on that one there's 120 million people have seen it or something crazy. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
And then you think of like Run the Race, which I did, came out in theaters and made like $7 million in the box office, but that just means that maybe 700,000 people saw it, 1 million. So it's like astronomically different. Now, obviously, there's the upside of a theatrical release if it takes off is there. And with Netflix, there's no upside. I mean, it's just exposure. But it's been great. I mean, because it used to be like I'd meet people in meetings. They'd be like, oh, great, yeah. So your work, and I'm like, yeah, Run the Race. And they're like, and I go, okay, Where Hope Grows, The Remaining, Priceless. Asperger's Arrest.
Spider-Man 37.
Spider-Man 37, yeah. But then if walking to me and I go, Blue Miracle, I'll lead with that. They're like, oh, I love that one.
Dude,
so it's been great to do that.
What's the next project for you?
Well, so we just had Acid Man, which is something I wrote with my best friends, and he directed.
So it's full circle to cocaine.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
movie,
think about that. Yeah.
Acid Man. Is it Acid Man or Acid Man?
That's a line from the movie.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because he's got that's crazy that there's a line that the
Dad?
Oh no I'm sorry Dad. It's actually we cut that scene so it's safe that you did that.
It's in the outtakes.
It is in the outtakes actually.
And if y'all are wondering, I'm not in Acid Man and I don't do Acid Man.
Yeah, buddy. But
Yeah.
now you're selling me
See,
the
how
way you
about
said that.
The realtor.
Yeah. So Acid Man was awesome because first of all, not a faith film, and I love the fact that I'm able to do both of these now because I think as I am able to do other projects, like we've done 2 documentaries, Asperger's Arrest and On Tour with Asperger's Arrest, one's on Netflix, one's on HBO. Like all that expands to be like, oh, you're more than just a faith guy, right?
One trick pony.
Yeah, so that's been cool. But Acid Man's awesome, man. We got like a 89% on Rotten Tomatoes after Tribeca. We got
Who's in Acid Man?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh my gosh, Lowell from Wings.
Yeah.
Also, you might know him from Sideways.
Which, by the way, nominated for an Oscar on that, and the big, all of the trades have not all, most of the reviews and trades have been saying that this is his best performance ever in Acid Man.
Wow. Well, and then bring it full circle with you playing basketball. The first time I met him was the only time I met him. So let me just leave it at that. But I played basketball against him.
Outdoor Weddington?
No, at Premier Club here, like 15, 20 years
here?
ago. And I remember I was still trying to be an actor, and I was like, this is it. I was like, if I go and I beat him, even though he's half my height.
Yeah.
I remember afterwards, like, hey, man, I'm going to give you my business card if you need anybody in your upcoming movies. He hadn't called me yet, but...
There's Spider-Man 37. And he was in Spider-Man. He was Sandman. And
he was in Spider-Man. Yeah. Golly, there's a lot of just...
And he was telling me he became a basketball junkie where at one time he was actually like bailing on meetings and auditions. Like where it was like his manager was like, what are you doing? Because I just want to play basketball. So he got super involved. But he lives in Texas. He's down south.
Really?
Yep.
I like how you just went like this.
Yeah,
that's
I'm pointing.
South. He's right down there.
Is that south? Oh, the south is that way? That way?
South is this way.
But no one knows. I mean,
but it's like you can say he's up south,
Yeah.
or like he's here. He's in Texas.
Yeah, okay. He's in Texas.
What would be your dream project? Actually, multiple questions here.
Anyway,
dream project. Oh wait, no, finish.
Well, and I was gonna say now there's it's pretty crazy right now. Like I've got like I wrote my first TV series this year, so that's cool.
Wow.
And I'm probably gonna direct an episode or 2 of that, and then
what's it called? Are we allowed to find out?
I don't think I can. I don't think, just in case.
What's it about?
Spider-Man 37.
The show. Starring Patrick Warburton
and Rogers Healy.
Hey everybody.
It's a terrible show.
Sorry, but it'll get canceled.
Anyway, it will be. It's already canceled. In fact, I'm just letting you know it's already canceled.
Well, that's awkward.
So, anyways, so did that, and then there's like 4 projects I'm really excited about. There's a revenge thriller, which is kind of cool. That because it's just straight up genre. That one I think will happen next. I'm trying to shoot everything in Oklahoma now, to be honest with you.
Have you been to Oklahoma?
I have. I just went up there and toured the Prairie Surf Studios.
Okay, well, I'm sure that's great, but the rest of the state.
But they bought the old convention center and turned it into a giant shooting. It's amazing, a giant studio.
Welcome to Oklahoma, everybody. That's the only thing to do there is to.
I liked Oklahoma City. I just went for the first time.
Oh God, there's a bar called Edna's. It's really fun, and they have this drink called a lunchbox, and that's fun. But you have to drink it 24 hours a day to even tolerate that terrible state.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy. So if you go
Oklahoma.
No, yeah, crazy in love with Oklahoma.
The realtor.
There's a place called Retro Pub, I think it was something like that, but it was a barcade.
Yeah.
And I love barcades, and it was my favorite one of all time because it was so 80s out at the barcade.
No, here. It's a hidden drink. What is that?
Oh, well, this is a Rogers Healy mug.
Wow. Barcade, Oklahoma City.
Coffee.
And all you people from Oklahoma watching this, turn it off. I don't want your support. Anyway, back to what you were
I want
saying.
your support, though. So,
I'm put it back on, which would be weird if you turn it off because then you wouldn't hear.
click, click,
yeah,
click.
the turn it back on. But wait, what's your dream project? We got to get there.
Oh, I don't know what my dream project is.
Who would play you in a movie?
You.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know. It's probably a low budget movie if I'm financing it. So yeah.
I accept. What would be what's my name in the movie? Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
37. Man, I love it.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. A dream movie. I love anything with special needs. Honestly, like everything I do, I always try to write in a special needs character. I love working with my friends. I obviously love movies that have a message. Like I don't like, although, again, I'm doing a little bit of everything right now. But I'm actually really excited. This is crossing over into the music world too, which. I'll get you an autograph when I go back. I'll have to unearth this one because he's no longer living. But
we call them signatures when you're 42. I'll take a signature.
Oh, is it really?
No, it's an autograph. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is it like
not to make it awkward, but at the end of this, I have your questions in a Sharpie, and I'd like for you to sign it for me.
Signature? You want a signature?
Yeah, I want a signature.
You want the old John Hancock?
Yeah, at 42, you can't be like, can I have your autograph? Be like, hey, would you mind signing this for me so I can get it framed for my office? Versus like, hey,
that makes sense. I'm doing this little Jimmy Dickens movie.
Oh wow!
And
In Nashville,
dude, we're like,
who's playing Little Jimmy? Andy Dick.
I don't know if I can. I'll show you. I don't know if I can say anything about it. I'll show you. We found an act. This is crazy. We found an actor who's 5'1", full-time actor, been working for 20 years, plays guitar, sings, and looks so much like him. It's crazy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we're about to go out. I actually get to go shoot at the Ryman.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I've never been to the Ryman. I've been outside. I've never been outside.
Why don't we go to Nashville one day together?
I would love to.
And I will take you around to some of these places.
I would love to. Nashville's my favorite city in the country besides Dallas.
Or Oklahoma City.
I love Oklahoma City.
We could stop in OKC on the way up.
Do they have a convention center they turn into a sound studio that I could check out?
Right next to Retro Pub.
That place, Oklahoma is awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to Oklahoma, everybody.
So anyways, all that to say, I'm very excited about that one. But it is that music crossover type thing, which is really cool. So I think we'll shoot that next year.
With all this going on in your life, how do you maintain balance without, being sucked into just work?
Two things, honestly. I do have whatever reason, it's a gift. I do write very quickly, and I do end up finishing stuff quickly. So in these contracts, you get built a lot of time. It was like, let's just say it's, first draft, you get 3 months. I mean, and I can finish it in maybe a month.
Name
sometimes.
that tune. Name that tune. Have you not seen Name That Tune, the TV show? Oh.
But what?
Nothing.
Oh, I can finish it in so many words. Is that how I do it?
Name that. Then prove it.
Yeah, okay.
Do it.
I bet you're pretty good at that. I bet actually.
Yeah.
Why don't you go on that? One of my buddies went on that.
Because they played on a piano and it's Randy Jackson and like I could probably do well, but
You could do it, dog.
beat Shazam. Thanks, dog. Oh, you're dead to me.
Oh, that's Mario. That's Mario. Is that Mario
no,
Lopez?
Randy. Hold on. No, we got to get back to
No, Shazam. Is that Mario Lopez?
that was Jamie Foxx
Jamie
from
Foxx.
Terrell, Texas. And
Yeah.
then back in the day, Rock and Roll Jeopardy. That was the show that I could have just.
Yeah, that
I
would've
could.
been
They
good.
would have just changed the name to the Rogers Show.
Rogers and Roll Jeopardy. That's a
Spider-Man
terrible
37.
name. It's a terrible name.
But back to and as far as the best advice you've ever received in the professional world, what is it?
Honestly, it goes back to same thing as just be somebody that people want to be around and would want to work with. I mean, that's my biggest thing. Even when you're going, people are like, when you go in and pitch, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. I'm like, look, I go in there and I just want to connect with that person, and I want them to like me, and I want them to work with me, and vice versa. I want to find someone I want to work with, because when I go in there, I'm always selling myself 95%. I'm selling whatever project I've come in 5%, because 9 times out of 10, no, I mean, in this 99 out of 100, they're not going to do that whatever project I'm coming in with right now.
So 9.9 times out of 10.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's great.
It's that 0.1.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you'd give somebody right now?
So, well, my point is is just treat people in the way that you want. I mean, honestly, it's the golden rule. To me, that exists and it supersedes all that when you're dealing with people, because when you're doing that, then people want to be around you. That's how you create a gravity around you, where people believe you're authentic, they believe you care about them, and you treat them right. I don't care if it's a PA or the star of the movie. There's plenty of directors I've seen, and if you're a PA, they're just blowing you off. And learn the dude's name. Tell them you appreciate him. That's the thing. That will go so much farther when. Okay. This actually is 100%. This is a thing I do so far in every movie, is at the end of the night, I go find every crew member I can find, and I look at them and I say, thank you for today. That, I assure you, and I do try to learn all their names. I'm not great with it, but I do. I actually study the call sheet to learn everyone's names.
Wow.
But what I was going to say is, what happens is, every single, without fail, every rap party, I've had people come up to me, PA, grip, whoever, and they go, hey, I just want you to know, no one's ever known my name on a set. Or, hey, I just want you to know, by you saying thank you, that meant more to me than if you'd paid me more. And so the idea is nobody wants to play for a coach they don't like, right? Like in sports. But man, if the coach, if you believe in your coach and you believe he values you, you'll run through a wall for him. So that has so much more value than if it's like a paycheck or something, right? I can give you 50 more bucks, or I can give you respect and value. Dude, you're going to take the respect and value, because that's so much more important as humans. So I think that's just that's kind of my motto, and that's my thing, is I just treat people the way you want to be treated.
It's simple, right?
It is so simple. That's what the problem is. And people are just weird, man.
Yeah. Golly, it's very valuable to hear you speak the truth, and it's very simple, but I think that Chris is one of the most extreme examples of success I think I'll ever come across, and especially beyond this show. But to see you do it with such humility and poise, but also have some fun with it and make it a mission based, I think is a gift. So thanks for sharing everything you did with us today. And if people want to go and support you, when they want to support you, what's the best way to find your movies, your TV shows, and to find you?
I guess I could just look on IMDb and then find the shows, right? Like, because they're all in different HBO or Netflix.
Chris Dowling Director is his Instagram.
That's true.
For
but I am a dinosaur. Like, I just kind of checked out after Facebook. So unless I'm shooting something, my Instagram is pretty boring.
Unless at night he's watching movies, we always know.
Oh yeah, that is true.
What's playing in the VHS player for over at Chris Buster.
And it's always 80s.
It is always 80s.
We need to do an 80s podcast. We just talk about 80s things.
Dude.
Not this time, but maybe next time around or something.
I like this. Round 2 tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do an 80s one.
I'm in. Well, Chris, this has been a pleasure. You have been exactly what I thought. You've been a gentleman, and you've been a lot of fun. And,
Scholar.
And a scholar. Not so much so, going to 8 colleges in 17 years. But you graduated.
I dominated the 4.5.
That is true.
Scholarly.
Tommy boy, right? And doctor. Chris, I'm a huge fan of you, and I hope everybody that's paying attention today and watching can go and maybe rattle off some of your movies real quick so they can actually go and find some of these if they don't know what I am.
So Blue Miracle, you can still watch on Netflix. I think Asperger's Are Us, which is a documentary, you can watch on Netflix. HBO Max has On Tour with Asperger's Are Us, which is a docuseries. Run the Race.
Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon, iTunes, you can get all those. Actually, some of them, like, they just went off Amazon Prime, unfortunately, and then Sony bought it and put them on the PureFlix platform.
Cool.
So, but like Where Hope Grows, Priceless, The Remaining, those movies, yeah, you could go rent them. Actually, there's a really interesting movie that, it was a PureFlix exclusive, but we shot it during the right before the pandemic. We shot the whole movie in 8 days, and it turned out great. I really like it. It's called The Man from Nowhere. Not to be mistaken with this Korean action flick, which is actually really awesome, and you should watch that if you get a chance. But that one, but Man from Nowhere is, I mean, it's super. It's again, we shot it for whatever, $120,000. I think I can whatever. I don't think I covered the budget in 8 days. Like that's miraculous. So I'm really proud of that movie too. And then I don't know. There's probably a handful of other things I'm thinking that I hopefully you can find Repo Games somewhere.
Acid Man.
Well, Acid Man was at Tribeca, so we'll hopefully have a distribution deal. And then we have another movie, which I can't wait for you to see because it's so music-based. I told you about the soundtrack, Huey Lewis, and it's called Roll With It, off the Steve Winwood song. Roll with it, baby. Yeah. So that one, that's a behind-the-scenes debacle that one day we can discuss. But we
Steve Winwood, by the way, if you're watching this, I have a Rogers Music Tour podcast as well, and Huey Lewis.
I love
the Heart of Rock and Roll is still beating in Cleveland.
Well, who knows? Oh, I got someone. Blah blah. Anyways, all that to say, so those other ones are supposed to be coming out. So there's things that'll be happening, and then we're starting these new ones. So
love it, ladies and gentlemen. A glimpse.
I love you.
I love you. I didn't say I love you, but you looked at me like you were going to say I love you too. I like you. Chris.
I like you. Ben Rector song, right?
I like you. Ben Rector, from Oklahoma.
See?
Arkansas.
No, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So Oklahoma has produced one great thing, and it's Ben Rector.
Mickey Mantle.
One great thing. Mickey Mantle's from Dallas. He was born in Oklahoma.
Statues out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Rogers That. That is Chris Dowling. Show him some support. Show him some love like I have. And become a fan. And one of these days, maybe you can also have your car repossessed. And then you can win it back through something like Repo Games. So cheers. That's it. Chris Dowling. Thank you, buddy. That was fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Dowling, and that's how you sell without selling out. Rogers That.